2015 was a great year for filmmaking. There were some truly technical and cinematographic achievements in films like Sicario, Mad Max Fury Road, and The Revenant. In this video, I'll be going over who I think will win the Oscar in each category, except for short film, animated short documentary, and foreign language, since I have yet to see any of those nominees. Let's get started. First, I'll quickly just go over some technical awards. For sound editing and sound mixing, the only real two candidates are The Revenant and Mad Max Fury Road. I think The Revenant will edge out Mad Max in both of these categories because of the utter realism that heavy sound design provides. It truly throws you into the action of the movie. Everything from the gunfire, to the arrows hitting trees, to the horses galloping, to the snow crunching, and of course, the bear growling, it all just gives you chills. Next is production design, and I think The Revenant will also win this award. How the production designers managed to find the perfect locations to film this movie, all its complete natural lighting, and the setting, is beyond me. Again, Mad Max Fury Road is the only film that is even close to The Revenant in this category, but I think The Revenant edges out Mad Max again. For best makeup and hairstyling, I think The Revenant will win also, but it is a toss-up between that and Mad Max. I'm no cosmetologist, so I don't have any real reason for picking The Revenant over Mad Max, other than it's just a hunch. The visual effects category is extremely interesting this year. Ex Machina has by far the most subtle use of CGI and not too many practical effects, but the visual effects really help the film. The Revenant used mostly practical effects, except for obviously the now infamous bear scene. I don't think The Revenant will win best visual effects unless the Academy votes for it purely because of that one scene, and I wouldn't blame them. It really was one incredible scene. Although The Martian had some great effects and looked cool, I don't think it's a good enough movie to win. Mad Max Fury Road did a terrific job with blending practical effects and CGI, along with overlaying different shots to fill up the frame to create a perfect looking movie. However, I do think The Force Awakens will grab the Oscar for this category. This is the only Oscar I think Star Wars will win. Once again, for best costume design, it's a toss-up between Mad Max and The Revenant. Both could not be more different, however. Mad Max pretty much invented costumes, whereas The Revenant did a masterful job at seasoning and being accurate to the time period. Knowing the Academy, I'll predict The Revenant, although it could go either way. For Best Original Song, I think Writings on the Wall from Spectre will win simply because of the James Bond film. And for Best Original Score, I think The Hateful Eight will win. Ennio Morricone composes a wonderful soundtrack for this western set in the middle of nowhere, and since he's 87 years young and sadly probably doesn't have many more scores in him, I think the Academy will vote for him. For film editing, I think Mad Max Fury Road should win because of its sharp, clear editing. It's one of the few Western action movies these days where you can actually tell what's going on during a car chase or a fight. However, I think The Revenant will win. I don't have any technical backing behind this prediction, just a hunch about how the Academy is going to vote. For Best Adapted Screenplay, I think Brooklyn should win, although I haven't seen Room yet, since it hadn't been released in any theaters near me. Nick Hornby, the writer of Brooklyn, wrote a beautiful romantic drama that really got the tone and feel of the 1920s. I'm extremely shocked Aaron Sorkin's Steve Jobs wasn't even nominated though. The witty and fast-paced dialogue is non-stop and is like music to the ears. What is even more shocking is that Sorkin won the Golden Globe for his screenplay, but didn't even get a nomination nod for the Oscar. For Best Original Screenplay from the nominees, I think Ex Machina should win. If a film with basically only 3 characters consisting of only dialogue can keep you on the edge of your seat for its entire runtime, you know you have a good script. However, I think the Academy will hand this award to Spotlight. The way Spotlight gave depth to each of the characters was remarkable. There was no boring, cliche exposition, but rather we learned more about the characters and their behaviors through the story, which can be attributed to the wonderful screenplay. Now for cinematography. Sorry, Roger Deakins, but this year is still not your year. Next time, make sure the movie you're working on isn't being released the same year Emmanuel Lubezki is doing something insane with his camera. The Revenant will win for Best Cinematography. It is simply one of the most stunning and beautifully looking movies in recent memory. For Best Animated Feature, I just have to predict Inside Out. I think it barely edges out Anomalisa, and the Academy will more likely than not pick a kids-friendly movie to win this category. For Best Director, I think Alejandro Inarritu is going to win again for The Revenant. The way he managed the weather, the cast, the crew, and the budget shows true leadership as a filmmaker. He had a vision, and that vision was huge and epic, and he captured it successfully and artistically, which is why I think he'll get the win for this category for the second year in a row. For Best Supporting Actress, the way Kate Winslet managed to handle all that Sorkin dialogue is remarkable, which is why she is my pick for Best Supporting Actress. Plus, the Academy seems to love it when Europeans nail American accents to perfection. For Best Actress, from the movies I've seen, I would pick Saoirse Ronan, but I think the Academy will choose Brie Larson, and since I haven't seen Room yet, I can't really comment any further upon that prediction since it's just another hunch. For Best Supporting Actor, I'll have to go with Tom Hardy. He probably had 90% of the lines in The Revenant, and everything he said had meaning and depth. You could understand his point of view, and you maybe even sympathize with him sometimes, but you still hated him. Tom Hardy is probably one of the only few actors who could have pulled off that role. The other two are Daniel Day-Lewis and Meryl Streep. She can play anything, so I think she'd find a way to make it work somehow. Now comes one of the most anticipated categories, Best Actor. Although I personally believe Michael Fassbender's performance as Steve Jobs is better than Leonardo DiCaprio's portrayal of Hugh Glass, I think the Academy will finally hand Leo that Oscar. Not because of this movie, but it would be kind of like an award rewarding him for all the movies he's done in the past. So my prediction is that Leo will finally get that Oscar this year. Now for Best Picture. I think The Revenant's going to win. It seems to be on a streak during this award season, and I think it will continue into the Oscars. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Spotlight won, since that is the only film that I can think of that the Academy would choose over The Revenant. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.